Will Hamas rule the Gaza Strip after this war? Many people are wondering just that. Regarding Hamas's basically controlling the Gaza Strip after they sign the ceasefire deal in Gaza, the peace deal. The hostages are coming home, but what's going to be for the future of Gaza? What is the end game there? And a Hamas representative, I believe, let it slip that they will be, in fact, ruling Gaza. Take a look.
Just to be clear, that the Trump plan does say that Hamas will have no role in governing the future of Gaza. So you can confirm then that your role as Hamas is over?
Look, Yalda, and I have to be honest with you and with your audience, and I have always be very open and frank in answering questions. Therefore, yes, we are ready to hand over the government. We are ready to be totally away from any government or governing body. But when it comes to Hamas as an entity, as a Palestinian liberation movement, I think no one can overcome or exclude Hamas. Hamas is also present in the West Bank. Hamas is present in Jerusalem, in the diaspora. Therefore, Hamas is not only the government in Gaza. And therefore, yes, we are ready to leave the government for a Palestinian body, but we are still there on the ground.
And what about disarming? Because you're talking about a political ideology, but there's also calls for Hamas to completely disarm itself. Is that something that Hamas is willing to do?
First of all, I have said all other points except the issues or topics related to the first phase, end of the war, withdrawal, prisoner exchange and aid. This is part of the second or third, I don't know how many phases, but this has to be discussed. And this question is belonging to these phases. And this has to be discussed with all other Palestinians about the future of our strategy to struggle for freedom and independence. Up to that point, first, no one can deny us the right to resist by all means, including armed resistance. We can offer any other modality like a hudna or a ceasefire for 5, 6, 7, 10 years where arms are stand still. We can think with other Palestinian resistance movement, with Arabic countries, with Islamic countries, how to guarantee a period of 5, 10 years, a time, space to found the Palestinian state. But what we have said many times,
so just to be clear,
our weapons
are
going to be handed over only to the hands of a Palestinian state. And our fighters can be integrated into the Palestinian National Army. Before that, no one has the right to deny us the right to resist the occupation by all means.
Completely avoided the question. Said, yeah, we're thinking about disarming, but in fact, we're allowed to do violence by any means necessary, and we can resist. Essentially just kicking the can down the road until they have to discuss it in phase 2 of the ceasefire.
Now you're saying you don't want to and you will not disarm.
If you ask it directly, yes, we are not going to be disarmed as long as we are not sure that this will lead by any other means to have an independent self-sovereign state which is able to defend itself. Second, there are other modalities. By the way, if the question, this question is again unfair question. This question has to be directed to the aggressor, to the criminal who committed the genocide, as you have done with the Nazis after the World War II. Therefore, it has.
Dr. Bassem, this is part of the deal, though. This is written very clearly as part of Donald Trump's 20-point plan.
We are not part of the whole deal. We are. We have. Again, we have accepted the first phase, which is including end of the war, prisoner exchange, withdrawal, and aid.
That was a very revealing moment. We are not part of the whole deal. They do not intend to uphold the entire 3-phase deal. I believe maybe it's even more, but Definitely in the second phase, it says that Hamas must disarm. He's clearly stating here that he's not part of that. They only agreed to phase one. So, I don't think it's even going to get to a second phase, perhaps.
The rest of the points is belonging to the whole Palestinian political arena and all other factions. They have to discuss it together and to find ways how can we move forward by our struggle for freedom and independence. During this time, we can find a lot of modalities to have to lie our weapons down, to have a ceasefire, 5-10 years, to have a truce, to have any way of controlling this portfolio. But again, this is a genuine right of Palestinian people, and no one can deny us. If this question has to be directed, it has to be directed to the aggressor, and he has to be disarmed. His nuclear weapons, chemical weapons, biological weapons, which has been already used in the Gaza Strip and other areas during this war.
What about an interim political force made up of the likes of, and including the role of former British Prime Minister Tony Blair? Have there been discussions around that, and would you be open to welcoming them governing Gaza?
First of all, I am very sad every now and then to hear such proposal, because I am sure that Palestinians, after 100 years of struggling against the British mandate and the Israeli occupation, they are mature enough to rule themselves. But when it comes to Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, unfortunately, we Palestinians, and I'm sure Arabs and Muslims and maybe a lot of people around the world, they have very, very bad memories about him. We still remember his role in killing, on causing the killing of thousands or millions of innocent civilians in Afghanistan, in Iraq. We can remember very well, after destroying Afghanistan and Iraq, he became, as a reward for his crimes, to be the head of the quartet, which was imposing the siege on the PA first in 2003, and the quartet conditions, and then on the government formed by Hamas in 2006. I think all Palestinians, not only in Hamas, not only in Gaza, have very bad and very negative image of him. And I don't believe that he will be very welcomed or will be a very positive input in this case. Again, Palestinians have a lot of independent, technocratic cadres or leaders who can do the job in the best interest of the Palestinian people. To be honest, when I hear the name Tony Blair, I can say this could be Balfour Declaration 2 after 100 years. We are reviving some very bad memories of UK and British mandate. Therefore, he can be the second Balfour in this case.
Dr. Bassem, I want to ask you about the strike in Qatar, which hit one of your offices.
Let's stop the interview there. Now, one thing that's very telling to think about, and I actually tweeted about this earlier, is it really doesn't matter. I know I started this video with like most people are thinking about it. What you have to understand about Gaza, as long as Palestinians rule Gaza, you will have a jihadist state. I wrote Hamas or not Hamas. It doesn't really matter. Palestinians will elect jihadists to rule them regardless. As long as Palestinians rule Gaza, there won't be lasting peace. You can have Palestinians that are peaceful here and there, but by and large, they will elect the most extreme groups. They will. Those extreme groups will fight wars with Israel. That's the reality. So this idea that like it makes a big difference whether Hamas disarms or they don't disarm, who's going to get them to disarm? it really doesn't matter that much. Tomorrow, there will be a different Hamas. There will be, Palestinian Islamic Jihad. There will be all different types of groups that will take over, and it will be a jihadist-run state, and they're trying to attack Israel. Palestinians, in general, have shown time and time again we are incapable of ruling over one another. We are incapable of self-governance. Because whenever we have governance, we attack. We attack other people. We attack other countries, not only the Jews, other Arab countries as well. Thank you for watching this video. For more, subscribe to the channel if you want to help us make more of these videos. Go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. And you can also go to our new merchandise store, IsraelUncensored.com, and get some merchandise today. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.